Mind-blowing psychology facts that seriously explain everything. The human psyche is infinitely complex, which means new research comes out every day that helps illuminate why we're the way we are. And while some psychological studies provide us with fairly banal psychology facts, for example, one University of Rochester study confirmed that, get ready for it, people are happier on the weekend, others are truly enlightening. Herein, we've rounded up the psychology facts that explain human nature, and just might shed some light on a few of the patterns you notice in yourself and others. From why you think food tastes better when someone else makes it to why you always see human faces in inanimate objects, these are the mind-blowing psychology facts that explain everything. Number 1. If we have a plan B, our plan A is less likely to work. Every now and then, it hurts to be prepared. In a series of experiments from the University of Pennsylvania, researchers found that when volunteers thought about a backup plan before starting a task, they did worse than those who hadn't thought about a plan B. What's more, when they realized they had options, their motivation for succeeding the first time around dropped. The researchers stressed that thinking ahead is a good idea, but you might be more successful if you keep those plans vague. Number 2. Fear can feel good if we're not really in danger. Not everyone loves scary movies, but for the people who do, there are a few theories as to why, the main one coming down to hormones. When you're watching a scary movie or walking through a haunted house, you get all the adrenaline, endorphins, and dopamine from a fight-or-flight response, but no matter how scared you feel, your brain recognizes that you're not really in danger, so you get that natural high without the risk. Number 3. Catching a yawn could help us bond. Why do you yawn when someone else does, even if you aren't tired? There are a few theories about why yawning is contagious, but one of the leading ones is that it shows empathy. People who are less likely to show empathy, such as toddlers who haven't learned it yet or young people with autism, are also less likely to yawn in reaction to someone else's. Number 4. We care more about a single person than about massive tragedies. In another University of Pennsylvania study, one group learned about a little girl who was starving to death, another learned about millions dying of hunger, and a third learned about both situations. People donated more than twice as much money when hearing about the little girl than when hearing the statistics, and even the group who'd heard her story in the context of the bigger tragedy donated less. Psychologists think that we're wired to help the person in front of us, but when the problem feels too big, we figure our little part isn't doing much. Number 5. Beginnings and ends are easier to remember than middles. When people are asked to recall items from a list, they're most likely to think of things from the very end, or from the very beginning, found one study published in Frontiers of Human Neuroscience. The middle gets muddled, which could also play into why you remember your boss wrapping up her presentation, but not so much about the middle.